Hey storytellers, Chill here, back from graduating college with my friends. Unlike Peter though, ayo! That's a decent segue. Let's talk about Spider-Man though, not No Way Home, however. Spider-Man, Brand New Day. Since the end of No Way Home, people, me included, have been excited for the start of a brand new Spider-Man trilogy. After years of nothing, a Disney Plus animated series, a series of garbage, and even rumors that this movie was gonna be like multiversal or take place on Battleworld of all places, Spider-Man fans just wanted to return back to basics. A simple, street-level story about Spider-Man. Including me. Well, in excitement for the new film and due to the outstanding response that pitching Avengers Doomsday got, I decided to throw my hats off media into pitching Brand New Day. There's a few things I want to say before we get into the actual pitch though. First of all, this is not a replacement or a prediction. Obviously, I am just some schmuck on YouTube making a silly goddamn video. I am not a team of very talented artists and creators and actors and so making $1 million movie. On top of that, the movie is clearly going in a different direction than what I'm doing for this pitch. We are telling two different stories. If I somehow get it right, I'm suing. I'm joking. I would not even dare to poke that bear. But also the movie just looks good, right? I wouldn't want to replace it. Second of all, I know you guys can see the date. I'm cutting it pretty fucking close making this video. I've been working on this for a while. I've also been busy graduating college, as I said earlier. But a lot of information has come out about Brand New Day since the original idea for this video started. And I would love to give you guys an unrelated fanfiction about Spider-Man on this channel, but that's not what these videos are for. When I make these pitches, the aim is to answer the question, what if I made these movies my way, right? With the given information that I have when I'm writing the script. So everything we knew from the first trailer, it's in the script, but everything since then, any little details, anything you see after this video that may or may not just completely f the video over, doesn't count. Shush. But also, like I said, that doesn't really matter because it's not a prediction, right? My aim is to use the puzzle pieces provided to create a story for all of you, while also explaining my writing choices so that hopefully you beautiful storytellers will learn something from these. The best case scenario is that this pitch is just a fun, alternate version of a movie we all end up loving. It'll be different, but that's okay. But, without further ado, my name is Chillixion, and I formally introduce all of you to pitching Spider-Man, Brand New Day. Interior, maximum security prison. We see two prison guards taking a handcuffed man to an interrogation room. We slowly pan up to see who this man is. Mac Gargan. Fucking finally. The guards order him to sit. He obliges with a sinister smile on his face. He sits and looks in front of him. To us, nothing but a shadow. So, you're the person of interest I've heard of. Not a fan of talking.
Mac Gargan. Nice to meet you, and I appreciate your presence, but please, don't be so impatient with me.
My fault. But, I gotta ask, why'd you call me here?
That's because, Gargan, I run a tight ship around here. One with roles, one with a prey that has been disrupting me. One that needs a predator who loves to kill for gold.
The man in shadows puts his hand out to an array of expensive jewelry on an extremely pale but massive hand. Well, what's my prey of choice then?
Spider.
Exterior, New York City, day. We open on the same lines we heard from the trailer, coming straight off a cell phone. I can't believe our first day at MIT! MJ, come on, pretend like you're not the happiest you've been in your entire life. I can't. As we see watching and dangling off some high-end scaffolding, is our favorite web-slinger, Peter Parker, Spider-Man. He lets the video begin to replay another time when it's interrupted by... Peter whips his head towards the lens, puts his phone away as he grabs his mask, and we zoom out to get a better view of his whole suit, as Spider-Man gets a running start and leaps towards the city. As he free falls down from New York City, we get that gorgeous shot from inside the mask as Spider-Man swings down towards his home. Here we get an establishing action scene to show off this new version of the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. No, not the Disney Plus show. We get to watch him swinging around, saving an old lady or two, helping a cat out of a tree, defeating some villains here and there, maybe it's a montage, maybe time skip, so-and-so, so-and-so. This is personally where I'd like that initial interaction with the Punisher to happen, like in the trailer. Doesn't have to be that exact scene, but I think establishing that dynamic is good. Because personally, if it's up to me, the Punisher wouldn't be a major character, but he would be a side character who is prominent enough that you are aware he is in Spider-Man's world. But I don't think he should be like a major player in the plot or the narrative or something. And again, this whole scene lets you see that Spider-Man has been doing his thing long enough as this version that the citizens recognize him, know him, love him. Like, they're like, it's Spider-Man, we understand the status quo, and long enough to understand that he also has a dynamic with the other vigilantes in New York City. If you want, we can have the scene ending showing off Spider-Man getting the key to the city or something, like we see in the trailer. The exacts don't matter, but the tone of it, right? Showing off that classic Spider-Man is here, that matters, because it sets contrast for the future. Interior, New York apartment, hallway. In contrast, Peter is walking the halls of his apartment with his backpack to his side. He passes by an office and quickly goes up the stairs. But someone comes out of that office.
Good afternoon, Parker.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gaham. Hey, not to be rude, but, you know, it was a real tough day in my classes, so I've got a pounding headache.
Oh,
I should go
yeah,
work on.
this, no problem. That's fine. Just reminding you, rent's in 5 days. So,
I know.
Good. Because, you know, you were late last month. Huh?
I know.
And the month before that.
I know.
And the month before that. And even the month before that, I think.
I understand.
Hey, no need to get snappy, huh? Just checking up on you. Oh, also, don't forget your mail,
He says as he grabs a handful of letters.
something about the job in here.
Thank you. Peter grabs his mail from the landlord's hands and keeps going up the stairs. He enters his apartment. He opens and drops his bag as he throws his costume into an old busted-up laundry machine he's fixed up. He can't risk letting someone else see his costume in the wash. Out of instinct, Peter opens up his laptop and goes for his email. Peter's on the job market, and when he opens the few new emails he got throughout the whole day, it's the same as usual. Unfortunately, we've chosen not to move forward with you at the moment. Rejected. Better luck next time. Any anxiety or anticipation falls from his face as he turns away from the lights of his screen and sits right near his laundry machine as Peter just takes a deep, long breath. In the opening swing, I wanted to show off who classic Spider-Man was, right? I want to show off who the character Spider-Man is. In this scene, I want to show off who Peter Parker is after No Way Home. He hit absolutely rock bottom. He has no support system. He has no identity. He has no stability. He has essentially nothing. It is a surprise he even has a goddamn apartment at this point, and he has to build himself back up, which I don't know if you know this, but in 2026, that's difficult. That final scene in No Way Home was great to show how tonally Peter Parker is feeling and how tonally his life is going. And I feel like in this movie, we should continue that. It shouldn't be like a grim fest, right? We can still have good moments, happy moments, colorful moments, like that initial first swing, but Peter's emotional state is key. Peter is still in school, actual college and university. I say it again, and you're gonna hear me say that again, by the way. And he's currently looking for a job. He doesn't have one, but he is in a sort of perpetual state of looking, at least at the beginning of this film. That decision isn't too common within Spider-Man adaptations, I don't think. Like, he usually finds the job, I feel like, pretty quickly, but I feel like for a contemporary version of the Spider-Man character, it makes more sense. And no, I didn't just write that because I am actively on the job hunt. Please hire me. But even if I did, it serves to make Peter Parker more relatable for his age demographic. Like, that is literally what the character was designed for in the 60s. And we're already going back to the classic costume, so you know, get me a Spider-Man on Indeed. After this scene, I think we should have a lot of time in Peter's regular non-Spider-Man life, showing how his life is, most importantly showing the contrast between how his life was. See him walk in the halls of Empire State University. Since it's been 4 years since No Way Home, he's done with community college, so, you know, he's moving on to more expensive college. He keeps his head down and either purposefully avoids medium crowds or blends into larger ones, and he doesn't even raise his hands if he doesn't have to. Hell, even in class, on an almost daily basis due to being in his own head, he fully ignores one of the girls in class who's always trying to at least start a conversation. During these scenes showing off how gray and moody Peter's life is, I think we could continuously have a motif of Peter playing with a piece of paper, right? Not like making origami, but sort of looking, maybe writing something, thinking about a piece of paper. We see Peter sitting alone at a table near a window as he starts to write on the paper. Hi, my name is Peter Parker. Nice to meet you. Obviously you can't respond, but nice to meet you too. Sorry, that wasn't funny. Unless you laughed, then maybe it was. But anyway, sorry. Who am I? Right? You don't remember me, but we used to know each other. Don't try to remember. That might not work either. Sorry. But when we knew each other, something bad was gonna happen. To you, to me, to a lot of people. And the only way to stop it was to make everyone forget about me. And not to say you're not as important as other people, of course, but I had to help everyone. It was the right thing. And you know, sometimes you have to give up things you love to do good things. But I'm back for the thing. You're not a thing. But I'm back. Because comes in Ned into the coffee shop. As we see, the main barista working at this coffee shop today is MJ. Peter begins to ear hustle, hearing Ned and MJ talking about how they feel about life back in New York City. He overhears them talking about the lack of friends since, you know, their time gone, and talking about a possible open house they plan on having tonight. Peter, in a non-creep way, having heard this, puts his letter away defiantly and knows what he's doing tonight. There is one thing that I want to emphasize with Peter Parker at this moment. There is an emptiness in his life that he is not choosing to fill with anything else except when it comes to his old friends. I mean, it has been 4 entire years, right? They're done with MIT. Peter is done with community college and has moved on to a 4-year degree. 2 years into that, time has passed, but a part of him is still clinging on to this feeling. And when you cling on to something that happened that long ago for that long, it takes a toll on you. And that toll has led him here. Exterior, corner store. As Peter walks to the address later than he wants to be, his eye catches a bunch of flowers at a corner store for a cheap price. He takes a little longer, but he grabs them. Interior, open house apartment. When Peter walks into the apartment, expecting the lack of friends the two were talking about, it looks like it turned to quite the party. He tries to navigate the place with the abundance of people, small talking, and networking. I don't want to call Peter a complete social outcast, right? It's pretty known that in the comics, after he gets his spider powers, he becomes pretty suave as a person. But, you know, when you've been missing people for 4 years, have decided to isolate yourself completely from life, and have spidey senses, and now you're at an overstimulating party, yeah, that can't be fun. That sounds like hell. Peter eventually finds Ned as he tries to fight the noise for small talk. They dip into Ned's own room, since in the chaos of an open house, Ned actually hasn't been able to talk to too many people. This is where we would see Ned's Spider-Man room from the trailer. I'm not sure if it would be his bedroom or a completely separate room, but we see it it's the one in the trailer. But here's the thing. I don't want to see Ned as a Spider-Man fan per se, but more of a mediocre investigator. He's fascinated by the guy. For one particular reason. Because here's the thing about the ending of No Way Home. Peter erased everyone's memory of Peter Parker, but people still have memories of Spider-Man and events that Spider-Man was in. How do MJ and Ned register moments where they were hanging out with Spider-Man, where they were speaking to him like a friend? What about moments where his mask is off? Just pretty good fucking question. To be serious though, I do think that the movie could probably go in this direction, you know, because it is like a corkboard of Spider-Man pictures. It doesn't just look like he's like a stan. He could be though, I don't know. CEO of Sex Stan Ned. Is that so funny in 2026? Pussy! Like a 10-year-old joke. Big Spider-Man fan, huh? Oh yeah, of course. He's actually from where I grew up. He's from Queens, yeah. Back in the day, you used to be able to get real close and personal with him. Basically every year of high school, every crazy thing that's happened in the city, he's been there. And he's been Spider-Man. I mean, can't be Spider-Man the whole time though. You know, maybe I ran into him. I think that sometimes. That's pretty cool. You know, I'm from Queens too. Really? I would have seen you. MJ walks into the room. Hey, Ned, why is flat... Oh. Hey. Hey. Nice flowers. They're, housewarming gifts. Here. Eventually, MJ says she wants to speak to Ned, and Peter leaves the room respectfully, but he's still at the open house. The open house that he only came to speak to MJ and Ned that are now in a separate room. Peter failed to get back his friends, whatever that means. And for this, I think he'd, you know, still be awkwardly wandering around this open house, but refuse to small talk with anyone. You know, sort of more watching than doing, you know, like the dudes who take the cup and just sort of stand in the corner. That's Peter right now. It may be bordering on creepy, but I think it's super important for in this narrative to show how self-isolating and antisocial Peter is being and how unhealthy it is by just presenting the reality of it. I could imagine that within the overwhelming energy of it all and, you know, the fact that Peter doesn't really talk to people that much at this point, his spidey senses could just be going off subtly, you know, for no discernible reason, but you know, definitely making him feel awkward and strange and tense and just anxious. Super anxiety. Who knows? Maybe they're extra sensitive suddenly. And I know I have made fun of this before and I am kind of just doing the first animated panic attack. But this isn't animated. And it's not the first superhero one. Iron Man 3 did that. Pussy! All of this leading to a feeling of cacophony until Peter catches himself trying to keep his head in one and his senses under wraps. As he sees MJ, she catches his attention, but she ain't looking at him. She's looking at someone else. Her boyfriend. It's not Paul. Okay? It's not him. I know how Spider-Man fans feel about him. I haven't read anything with Paul in it, but people hate him. It's not him. It's not him in the script. It's definitely not going to be him in the movie, and that character in the movie is definitely, for sure, going to be extremely minor. But regardless of how minor or not he is as a character, Peter still sees this. The person he hasn't stopped thinking about for 4 years has moved on. He begins to disassociate as his senses seem to come back, but there's nothing happening. What's wrong? Peter starts to back up as he gets tunnel vision and eventually bumps into someone. Hey, what the hell? Watch it, dickweed. This causes a bit of a scene. You know, Peter doesn't really know what to do and MJ sees what's going on. Hey, Flash? Yeah, it was awful having you, but you gotta go.
Are you serious right now?
Hey, I'm sorry about that. You good? Peter is barely listening. He can barely focus. It's like he can feel his chest almost bursting open. He needs to calm down. I gotta go. As Peter stumbles and rushes out of the open house, leaving without even really introducing himself to anyone. Exterior, New York City. Night. As Peter starts to head home, it's raining like hell. And even without the constant booming noise of that open house, his spidey senses are still acting this way. His vision gets worse. He's heading home off of pure memory. Interior, New York apartment. Night. Peter walks through the same front doors and rushes upstairs. His landlord peeks out and wants to say something.
Parker! Hey, Parker!
But Peter closes his door before he can respond. Peter leans on his door as he looks pale, almost sick. He's covered in rain and sweat and his breathing is heavier than he usually does. He tries to look at his hands. They're shaking. He feels his chest thump, thump, thump. And his eyes keep closing, heavier and heavier. Peter looks at his drying Spider-Man suit. What the hell? He passes out. Interior, inside, day. We hear the groans of an early morning, mixed with a silky, stretching noise, like some fabric is being stressed with every movement Peter is making. Peter begins to open his eyes to nothing. He moves his hands, but he feels stuck, like he's struggling as soon As his eyes are open, he sees a wall of white, one that moves with his hands.
What?
Peter quickly starts waving his hands around, breaking and ripping the containment he found himself in. Exterior, New York City, day. We get a wide view as Peter has just freed himself from a web cocoon of some sorts. Right now, his legs are still attached to it, keeping him dangling in between buildings, ducked in an alleyway away from people. Peter instinctively goes to use his web shooters to get him some better foundation, but nothing. Peter doesn't have his web shooters, but how did he? Before he has time to think it through, the cocoon's breaking, with him set to fall headfirst onto the sidewalk at any second. Even if it shouldn't work, Peter's own instincts make him reach to shoot a web as he falls right out of the cocoon, and he didn't fall. He's still in the air, holding himself with one of his webs. A new one. Peter looks at his hand and wrist to see where it's coming from, and from what he sees, it looks like it's coming out of his wrist. Man Spider. The f*** is that? Not just a Smosh video, I swear. The origins of this character, is confusing in a way, because we're not really sure where this movie is getting it from, or if the movie is even doing it, to be fair. But the 1994 Spider-Man the Animated Series had a series of episodes where Spider-Man, transformed into Man Spider, sort of a reverse, more spider-like, more mutated version of the character. And obviously that cartoon was popular as hell. But that idea doesn't technically originate from a comic. The idea of, Peter growing spider arms, that shit, the cartoon made that shit up. Now, there is a small debate whether the cartoon was actually inspired by the Six Arms saga from the 1971 Amazing Spider-Man run, where Peter grows 6 arms, human ones. But whether it was or not, the idea of Spider-Man mutating into a man-spider-like creature has been used multiple times in the comics since the animated series. In the Amazing Spider-Man 437, we see Peter get mutated by Plant Man into Man-Spider. This isn't very permanent or very, narratively impactful, I'm gonna be honest, aside from him being mutated. Spectacular Spider-Man, Volume 15, Meet the Queen, kisses Peter, becomes Spider-Man. Now, I haven't read this comic, but it's a bit controversial, I'm gonna be honest, but it's interesting, and the movie could be taking inspiration from that. Essentially, after this kiss, Peter begins to mutate into this man-spider character, but then he goes further, he turns into a literal spider, and then the spider dies. And then he hatches Peter, and then Peter comes out with organic webbing. Organic webbing. That's the point of this. I'm gonna be fully honest. I'm not turning him into a big spider who births another Peter Parker. The f***'s wrong with, why the f*** would I do that? But I can say I'm doing it a little different from what you might be expecting as well. I know people are very used to the 6-arm man spider thing, but think of it as more internal, right? Less he is physically becoming a spider, and more he is getting more spider-like attributes. Now, as a storyteller, I see multiple opportunities for this. First of all, this is a story that has never been told in a Spider-Man movie before. It's a story that, is pretty simple to understand, but we haven't seen it on a big screen. And also, this provides a golden opportunity to give Spider-Man a brand new set of powers or a new level of strength. It's essentially a power scaling cheat code. And that's the last time I'm ever going to talk about power scaling on the channel. But if this is all just to give Tom Holland permanent organic webbing, I am not for it. As a character, Peter just works better with built web shooters. It shows off his intelligence. It is good characterization. It is good design. They did a good thing when they made the character the first time. I like the Raimi movies, and it definitely is also a nostalgia bias, to be honest. But I think now that he's had built web shooters for so long, and that especially in this verse in the MCU, being smart is such a big deal, and Peter has been shown to be smart, why take that away from him by giving him organic webbings for no reason? So in my ideal world, this thing he's going through is temporary and does have a conclusion at the end of this movie, and he does return to built-in webbings after this is over. But what you don't do is emphasize his intelligence by giving him a B-Tech Friday or Jarvis. What's the purpose of giving Peter a, active, intelligent AI system within his suit? For what, to talk to? He f***ing talks a lot already. So narratively, we're not just doing this to give him organic webbing or give him new strength or new powers, but we're using this to tell you about his emotional journey throughout the film. That is the beauty of superheroes. Their more fantastical out there elements can be ruled as just rule of cool, which is totally fine and valid, or if you want, they can be metaphor and allegory for much bigger ideas. Interior, New York warehouse. Night. we open to an extreme wide of the inside of a warehouse. Lights direct your attention towards the center, with a table. Anywhere else? Too dark to see detail. From the warehouse doors, walks in a man in a blue and white costume. This is Boomerang. He takes his long walk towards the middle table. He sits. Well, are they gonna get here or?
I can assure you we've been here the entire time, Mr. Myers.
Okay, fairs. So, you wanted to broker a deal with me?
I'm giving you an opportunity. I've seen that you've been moving around the streets.
Of course.
I like that. But I guess no one's told you. These are my streets. You ask for permission if you want to work them. And if you're lucky, you get something in return.
I see. So, what's this opportunity?
You're gonna be doing exactly what you were doing. But I choose the place, I choose the times. Don't have no cops catch you, and you better not have no vigilantes on your ass.
Of course, brother.
I'm not your brother.
Yes, sir.
Good. Also, send any other little D-list friends my way. Let's tighten this up.
Understood. Thank you, sir.
Oh, and before you go, I'm gonna send you some help. I got some friends that really want to speak their mind.
From behind this villain, we can barely see in the lack of light, but there's a distinct pair of pink eyes that begin to glow. But if the viewer were to be really attentive, they could also see the vague presence of a secondary figure as well, with no such glowing eyes. Boomerang is enamored by this, almost taken aback or even taken over. As we zoom out super wide, still the only light coming from the center, but within the darkness, all around the building, surrounding our D-list villain, are a bunch of what looks like ninjas in red. Fade out. After his awakening earlier, Peter could have had a cool montage of him, fighting with his post-cocoon abilities. Not fighting villains, maybe fighting villains, but mostly fighting himself. Again, organic webbing, better strength and speed, more sensitive spider senses like we were establishing at the house party. This essentially puts his powers back to zero, but with all his emotional knowledge, all of his battle knowledge, and all of his experience. And this could be cool, this could be funny. I'm not sure how down I am, though, to watch Spider-Man getting his powers for the first time in Spider-Man 4, though, But anyway, Pete eventually figures out that something is up with his body, something is up with his Spider-Man abilities, and he needs to figure it out. However, getting help is hard. He doesn't have his connections. He doesn't have any connections. Who on earth would be down to help a complete stranger? Well, maybe not a complete stranger, but a student? Interior. Empire State University. Before Peter walks into this lecture hall, he's thinking. Okay, as the class is wrapping up in there, Peter is in his head. Has he been cursed? Have his powers finally turned on him? Should he get help? Is it responsible to have someone, even a professor, be this close to him again? That'll be all for today. Y'all dismissed now. See you Thursday. Bye. It empties immediately. as a wave of students come crashing past Peter. He steps into a basically empty lecture hall as he sees the man he wishes to speak to at his board erasing class notes. Pardon me, Professor Banner. Oh, hello. I'm Peter Parker. I just have a few questions, actually, as a student. Oh, well, my office hours aren't for another few hours, but I'll answer. Do I have you in one of my classes? No, I'm just curious. I like that. Well, what's your question? Well, it's actually not about quantum physics or physics at all. But I've heard you've worked with biology and mutation and radiation, right? I have. Well, okay, let's say someone theoretically has experienced a good amount of... A good amount? A little bit of, like, radioactivity. And years later, stuff starts happening to them. Like small things, but changes as an adult. Well, Mr. Parker, that sounds quite fascinating, really, but realistically, you know that can't. To me. Specifically to me. Banner just looks at Peter, stares at him like he's trying to remember something. What did you say your name was again? Peter Parker, sir. Well, Peter, that's something I want to check out. And based on your question, you will too. So I can't do much right now, but my office hours are at 4. Not here. In the biolab. Meet me there, if you're serious. I am. Then meet me there. Peter looks shocked this worked. He smiles directly at a person for the first time in a while. Again, not to be rude, but he's been in his own head for so much. He's just happy he may have found a solution. Interior, Empire State Biolab. Later that day, Peter finds himself at the biology lab. He walks in, expecting a private, one-on-one conversation with Banner himself, but Peter's greeted by seeing another student, alone at a table. Peter stands and fiddles with himself for a moment, too unsure to say anything concrete. Until, Peter Parker! Nice to see you showed up. Oh, hello again, Professor Banner. I assume you introduced yourself to Miss Stacy. Actually, he didn't. Peter looks back at the student. I'm Gwen. Gwen Stacy. Do I gotta explain who you know who, I didn't explain who Spider-Man was. You know who Gwen Stacy is. I don't need to tell you who she is. You know who she is. Full transparency, by the way, in my original version of this script, the first version that was gonna be this video, this was Sadie Sink's character. This was. However, with more rumors and plot leaks and what's seeming to be more undeniable fact and less an assumption from fans, I had to give Sadie Sink a more mutant character, lol. However, I still think this decision is good no matter what, right? To me, this movie is about new stages, new evolutions, changes in life, new eras in your life, right? And even though, you know, Peter wants to be friends with MJ and Ned again actively in this movie, he needs some new friends. And notice how I said friends, because even though we know how Peter and Gwen's relationship ends, we need to acknowledge that they were friends first. The end of No Way Home gave us a golden opportunity to give Peter a new friend group filled with characters we haven't seen before. And right at this point, Gwen in Empire State University is free real estate. My point is, you know, bring Gwen in, make her likable, make her a cool character, and give her some banter and good chemistry with Peter. We don't have to set up for a romance subplot immediately. We don't have to do that even soon-ish. We got time. We got plenty of time. Trust me. So here, Peter isn't awkward because he has a crush. He's awkward because he's been a socially isolated freak for the last 4 years. So Bruce and Peter would get to talking, where Peter would try to explain things without revealing too much to Gwen, who's also in the room, or Bruce, who doesn't even remember him. Bruce is being upfront. Bruce would tell Peter that what he's describing is distress. We as an audience know that because Peter is literally omitting details, there's a misunderstanding, but we also know that Bruce is right. Peter is describing being overwhelmed at a party. Peter is describing not being able to confront people he hasn't spoken to in years. Peter is describing feeling drained. Peter claims that this is more than just distress, and no, there is something physically wrong with his body, and Bruce says to check that he'll need a sample of his DNA. Peter, knowing this will blow his cover almost immediately, gets up and quickly makes a shitty excuse as to why he has to leave, and makes sure to acknowledge Gwen as he leaves out of embarrassment. Interior, Empire State University hallway. Peter is outside of the lab, just with himself. He escaped that, but he has no answers. Where's he gonna go to? Peter, was it? No shame. Professor Banner is acquired taste, honestly. He's been through a lot. I can imagine. Yeah, so he gets pretty personal, but he means well. If you want, there's other professors here who probably won't ask as much. If you really don't want to come back. No, I will, but... Who? Yeah, Kirk Connors in the biology department. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure you weren't, like, crying. It's okay if you cry, by the way, but, like, you know, just... You know. Yeah, I know. Thanks, no problem. Oh, and you should come back. You seem cool. And Gwen returns to the biology lab. Interior, Dr. Connor's lab. Afternoon. We find ourselves in the laboratory of Dr. Kurt Connors. We can't really make out how he looks like, but at first, it's just a humble scientist. As we reveal his one arm, and then we reveal who it is. Keith David. I do truly believe that the voice of Keith David is going to be a character in this movie and not just a thing in the trailer. Who he's gonna be, I legitimately have no idea. Marvel has continuously disappointed me in the past with actors who deserved great characters who were given absolute nonsense and unmemorable bullshit. Giancarlo Esposito, just a guy with a gun. Just a guy with a gun. Could have been fucking Norman Osborn, piece of shit. But if I had to choose, I would want him to be Dr. Kurt Connors. I don't personally care for race swaps, especially when the race is not essential to the narrative of the character, and that's all I will say about that. But as an actor, Keith David is such a talent, and to bring Keith David onto a Spider-Man movie and have him play a university professor that turns into a giant lizard, and then give that giant lizard the voice Keith David? Sounds like money. Will it happen? Probably not. But if it does, you gotta click that like button right now. 100 likes right now. As to avoid the same situation he had with Bruce, Peter goes to Kurt later in the day as Spider-Man. And as a citizen of New York, Kurt Connors would probably f with Spider-Man pretty heavy, and when he learned Spider-Man is a man of science and a man of science in need of help, he would be even more invested. This is not the movie where we learn everything about Kurt Connors, okay? That can be another movie. But a biological or research scanning scene with some character building small talk never hurt. Plus, I think this scene helps to emphasize that as Spider-Man, Peter is incredibly comfortable talking with people, having conversation, going back and forth, and playing the part of the hero. But as Peter Parker the person, he's, you know, self-isolating, he's antisocial, he's awkward, he is unsure, he is anxious. Sadly, this scene would have to get cut short because while Kurt Connors is getting all the information he needs, Spider-Man hears some commotion going on down the city. Spider-Man leaps into action and Kurt Connors says that he'll have the information the next time they'll meet. Spider-Man goes out into the city and sees a larger scale drug trafficking operation happening with a set of goons and the big bad standing in the middle. Boomerang. Full transparency, I'm not even going to attempt to describe these fight scenes because Dustin Daniel Critton is really good. He's the actual director of Brand New Day and also Shang-Chi, so he has this in the bag. If I tried to even describe it half as good as he did, it would sound like utter nonsense. I do think, however, that this should be genuine hand-to-hand combat, real choreography, good fight scenes, and to emphasize that, let's throw in some ninjas from the hand in there. I think Peter would have a harder time because of his oversensitive powers, but I also think it would be interesting if that in the fight, Peter had more spider-like movements, more spider-like reflexes, and that during the movie, the more he fights, the more spider-like he is in his actual physicality, and not so much growing 6 fucking arms and shitting himself out. However, throughout the scene, when he's fighting the hand ninja, there's this one particular ninja that's giving him a hard time, fighting a bit harder than the others, a bit more playful, a bit more light, and when Spider-Man knocks him down, it's like that ninja's skills go to someone else, and then someone else. And they're all helping, but in the same way, like the fighting skills keep passing on. And that ninja in particular is really helping Boomerang. Like we see in the trailer, we see this consciousness jumping skill, and it's not so much possession as it perhaps is mind control. Spider-Man notices this and decides to take a side quest and follows the trail of ninja until he's out of suspects. But a bit at a distance, maybe he's on a pier, maybe he's looking at a pier, he sees someone in a bundle of jackets like we see in the set photos, someone that is just suspiciously hanging around, clearly related to the situation. And with his new power sensitivity, he can see a bit further, see a bit clearer at longer distances, and it's a woman with red hair. But before Peter could do anything, he got way too fucking distracted. The hand ninja have basically all left. He still manages to get Boomerang and, catch his ass, but he has lost the ninjas and he's lost his person of interest.
Peter lets this eat him up in the morning. Interior, New York apartment, 5 a.m. He prides himself on being Spider-Man, on being the Spider-Man, the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And he has his off days, but he just lets something huge go. He sits for a while. He looks at his wrist, the clear sight of color change from the part where the fucking webs came out of. He looks at his phone on his desk. He webs his phone right to his hand. Didn't hit the ground, didn't hit his face, didn't overextend. He looks at his hand. He's still shaking, but he types in on his phone, ESU, Professor Banner, office hours.
Here we have Peter biting the bullet and choosing to move forward with figuring out what is actually wrong with him from both Kurt Connors and Bruce Banner, because while with Kurt he's anonymous, with Bruce he does trust him more, even if Bruce doesn't know him. I think it would be cool if cinematically it was intercut with him going to Bruce and him going to Connors, because again, not only are these men different, but they would also teach him different things. And this is where you have Kurt saying his line in the trailer that
spiders have 3 life cycles: the embryonic, the immature, and the mature stages. When between cycles, spiders can find themselves vulnerable to threats. The same may be true for Spider-Man. If, in theory, you're in this vulnerable state, it's only temporary, but can only stop when the evolution is complete.
Connors should be focused on the biology, what is literally happening, right? New traits, new skills, the physicality, the inner workings of what is actually happening with Peter, and teaching him things and having him learn things that will help him become a better Spider-Man in the action scenes, as a hero, etc., etc. Bruce should be talking about the psychological.
So, these 2 sides of you, what do you call it? The class side? Okay. The class side, right? These 2 sides, they're not 2 complete yous fighting, right? It's still you, but you're making them out to be separate within your feelings, and your emotional state does affect your physicality. Because listen, even if they were 2 separate lives living inside of you, you would still need to treat them as one and find that balance. That's a lesson everyone's got to learn. Because if you keep something like that in for too long, it'll come out bad. And that could be what's happening now. But you got to figure that out. I can just help.
This is undercut with scenes of him fighting C-list and D-list villains, him trying to figure out his new powers, and trying to find that balance in his life. He would be already doing that at the lab, but he also decides to spend some time with friends, as in one singular friend, as in spending time with Gwen, doing nerd shit, paying rent on time, as Peter is slowly regaining that joy in his eyes. And I think it would be interesting if during this scene, again, it's intercut with him looking at old photos, him going to the coffee shop, him revising and putting away the letter to MJ. Peter is slowly realizing that him being married to the past and being married to his regrets is preventing him from living and having a regular functioning life in the world. Hell, actually, I would adore a scene if, Peter and Gwen are hanging out, and during it, Peter is like, I wish, we met earlier because Gwen is such a fun person to hang out with. And then Gwen rebuttals with, we've met before.
What do you mean?
I've said hi to you in class. We don't sit that far from each other.
Are you serious?
I'm very serious. You don't talk. You don't talk to no one. But, hey, you're working on it, right? It may be a little on the nose, but that's not for us. That's for Peter. Hearing how self-isolating you've been can hit a lot harder than realizing it yourself, especially when it's completely unintentional. And Gwen isn't mentioning this to be mean. Gwen is entirely being earnest and just telling him the truth. Because I think that is the character that Gwen would be in the MCU, especially because, the best Gwens have. Spectacular Gwen is a bit like that. Continuing this should be Peter picking his life back up. Obviously, he's not all healed, he's not all emotionally fixed, and what's happening to him is still happening. He's still working through that, but he is trying day by day, and I think that should be punctuated by him finally getting that job at the Daily Bugle.
Get me pictures of Spider-Man.
The Daily Bugle at this point should have evolved from this sort of Alex Jones type single person talk show thing into sort of a online newsletter, you know, focused on something like using new media to deliver present news the old school way. While I do love showcasing my frustrations with the job market through Spider-Man, I do understand that I can't keep Peter from his camera for too long, and plus this gives us a perfect opportunity to introduce a brand new, very important character, Robbie Robertson. Robbie Robertson is one of the reporters and the editor-in-chief for the Daily Bugle, and that's all I'm really gonna say for his character. You know Robbie Robertson, you know him less than Gwen, but if you're watching this video, you should know who Robbie is, I'm gonna be honest. What's important though isn't who the character is exactly, but who the character is linked with. If you know, you know. And I don't think Robbie could just be another great, outstanding side character. I think he could deliver us something we need from this movie. Because even if Peter is picking his life back up, this situation with the red-haired woman, all these villains attacking, and it seems to be all connected with this mind control, it's still happening. It's still going crazy. Spider-Man isn't going anywhere with it, and this is really frustrating for him. So when he gets that job at the Daily Bugle, he has another source to get info on these villains, on these people, and to perhaps get more information to get him closer to the answers that he's looking for. However, he's surprised by J. Jonah just wanting, pictures of Spider-Man. Therefore, this is a scene that I think needs to happen. Interior, the Daily Bugle, night. Peter is delivering sets of pictures to people around the hybrid office. He gets to Robertson's desk and hands him a few pictures. Here you are, Robbie.
Thank you, Peter.
Peter hasn't moved. He's started shifting through pictures of the villains he's been facing, like Robbie so often catches him doing.
You're getting too into it.
Oh, my bad. Wait, what do you mean?
You're getting too into it. It's as simple as that. What, they never tell you stories to watch out to?
No, not really.
Well, let me tell you something. When I was younger, around your age, I did editorial at my high school. I saw myself as the senior hero. You know, the one that brought justice to the papers. I thought I was fine because all I was doing was, you know, reporting shitty lunch food. But one time, I wrote up a mighty piece on another kid. And this was not no bully, Pete. Okay, he was a grade A problem. Okay, yeah, he hit people, he took money. But then he started controlling. Made other people hit people. Made other people take money. Soon, it wasn't just kids. Some joked around, called him a mob boss, an undertaker. He got too into the role. Maybe as much as I did editing, reporting. I want to get it out. But Lonnie, he had eyes everywhere. I found myself in front of him and Pete. Pete, if you're ever gonna be scared of the streets out here, know that my old ass ain't never been more afraid than that day. And what? I dropped the story. I had no choice. But I live with plenty of regrets. I was too into it. Peter looks at Robbie, and he nods, and slowly returns to his desk. I won't drop another story though, kid. Never again. You just gotta find your balance. So, stay safe out there. I also think at this point, it would be very important to mention Bill Metzger, who's in the trailer. Who the f*** is Bill Metzger? Well, William Metzger in the comics is an anti-mutant activist who's in like f***ing 8 comics. But he is played by one of my favorite actors from Severance, so I think he deserves a more prominent role. Am I being biased? Yes. So I think as Peter is trying to figure out what's going on with this red-haired woman and all these villains and everything that's happening, he's getting information from the Daily Bugle, the job he is working at, but also from a rival company, the Militia Press, which in the comics is an anti-mutant and propaganda paper, if you see what I'm doing. Shh. But here it could be a more generalized anti-villain paper, right? There's mutants in the MCU, but they're not called mutants. No one really knows what's going on, but there are people with powers in this world who are beginning to emerge.
So it would make total sense that there is a fear of supervillains with powers and a growing number of people with superpowers that are causing more fear, accidentally or on purpose. I don't know. Not sure how the militia press would react to Spider-Man, though. I think a good contrast for the Bugle would be for the militia press to be nice to Spidey, but if they're mutant or super-powered person, would they not be anti-mutate? Who knows? But during one of the conversations with Bill, he reveals that the militia press has a lead on one of the suspects for who this mastermind is for all this mind control. And it's a redhead girl, a runaway from upstate. One that, was being tracked by some police and eventually they lost track of her. So Peter makes the connection and now, more than ever, is ready to finally face her. Interior, Empire State University. Peter finds himself with Professor Banner and Gwen Stacy as Peter's probably trying to subtly calm his Spidey senses while pretending to do something else, while Banner is preparing for another class. Exterior, Empire State University. We see from outside that same bundle of jackets approaching. Interior, Empire State University. Peter's headache gets worse, but his focus starts to sharpen. He's been trying to control his own sensitivity, but with him in between cycles, every danger feels like hell, and every worry feels like danger. It's almost too overwhelming for him to focus on anything until it's too something, and Bruce snaps, as the inhibitor device snaps as well, as Bruce Banner begins to pulsate, falls to his knees, his clothes rip off, as Peter grabs Gwen to run out of the classroom. A rumbling is heard, as a roar is let out. The Hulk is back. Similar to the fight scenes, I think it would be a disservice for me to try to vocally describe an action scene with the Hulk, especially when it is best experienced visually. If you want these videos to get like storyboards or animations, support me on Patreon. But let's talk about the return of the Hulk, right? It's clear that with his appearance in this film and his lack of appearance in Avengers Doomsday, this is his last major appearance before the big crossover. And due to how the character has been treated since ever, people want justice, and I understand, right? This scene should be ballistic, it should be intense. Maybe not Man of Steel, but he should be fucking wrecking house. Now to me, Bruce Banner in a film of mind control or possession clearly signals that he's gonna just tweak out. And if you notice what we said earlier, this is a clear allegory for Peter's life, about keeping stuff down too much and then eventually it comes out all bad. This is obviously, not because of Banner's actions, this is involuntary, but it's a visual representation of that. And we can see throughout the film, even though Peter's trying to fix his life and trying to get better, he is still actively avoiding interactions with MJ and Ned. He is still partially married to that idea. But with the way he's acting, it's like he's pushing it down because he feels like he has to. So here, Peter's doing a few things. First, he is ditching Gwen for the first time so that he can suit up and fight the Hulk. Second, Peter has to reckon with his feelings that the Hulk was let out for the first time in over a decade on Earth because of him. Directly, kind of, not really. But you know how Peter is, he gets emotional. Third, I think it would be the right amount of Spider-Man tragic if Peter had to save MJ and Ned from getting absolutely fucking destroyed by the Hulk, and afterwards where he would normally confine Ned and MJ, he literally can't. And the scene wouldn't end there. Because with an entire Hulk loose, best believe that the police, the military, and the news would be on that ass. Especially the Punisher. For a threat like this, bring everyone so that they can be collateral for an eventual destruction. But the important part is that the Hulk is being led somewhere. He is being led to the prison with some major players in it. Spider-Man would follow our green giant into the prison, knock him down as much as he can, and hopefully the Hulk would be down for just a moment, giving Spider-Man time to look for the main culprit, the mind controller. Interior, maximum security prison. Spider-Man rushes in and sees on one of the higher levels that same bundle of jackets. He doesn't hesitate. With his more spider-like technical powers, he's able to be faster and more aggressive with getting to her, immediately attacking her. As she hits the floor, her hood comes off as her head hair flows onto the ground. She gets up, the two face to face. She tries to subtly put her fingers up. Spider-Man shakes his hand and then webs her to the wall. A little extra just to make sure you don't go off running. I don't know what's your deal, but I can sense things too. So why am I still? Another roar and explosion is heard from behind them. The Hulk got back up and decided to rush towards the cell transfers happening. The ones done to keep them away from the raging beast. Multiple convicts, villains we could have seen before earlier in the movie, but most importantly, the main subject, Mac Gargan, who looks straight at Spider-Man and, with his fucked up eye, winks, no matter how hard it hurts. How are you still... I'm not. Yoo-hoo. From above, the two hear whistling. When they look, it's Bill Metzger. Sorry to burst your bubble, Red, but your job here is done. Scapegoat unnecessary. Glad you thought you were using your powers, because so did the police. So enjoy prison. Hey, you! Spider-Man tries to web him up, but Bill is quick to stop Peter and the woman in their tracks, using a burst of psychic energy. He drops down in front of both of them, facing the chaos, unseen by authorities. And Red, you can run if you want, but you better not tattle, or Tombstone's gonna have your head. A tombstone? Bill Metzger begins to leave the complex as Peter can barely focus enough to look straight for a moment. As Bill gets further, the pressure gets weaker, as the woman takes this as a chance to rip off the webbing and run. Peter tries to reach out to her, but his own spidey senses are still firing off on all cylinders. He sees Bruce leaving his Hulk form as authorities begin to circle him. Armed gunmen approach the degreening professor as Spider-Man has webbed him and taken him away. Peter drops Bruce back near Empire State University, probably near Gwen, as she'd naturally be looking for Peter, who, from her perspective, either bailed or is hurt terribly. And he lands on a close but distant rooftop from the university and opens his phone, opens it to send the first text he ever would to Gwen. He starts writing, "Sorry, I..." He erases the message. He puts his phone away. He knows where to go. Exterior, New York port, later night. We open on a bundle of jackets sitting at a dock. The woman's sneakers graze the water. She's enamored by the little ripples it makes, the changes that don't affect the rest. Hey, she looks back. It's Spider-Man.
Oh God. Please leave, or else I'll mind wipe you, got it?
I know you can't do that.
Why you here to arrest me then? If I didn't do anything.
That's not why I'm here. Spider-Man sits next to her. Not too close, but close enough to not have to yell. Let's talk. What's your name? Silence. Well, I'm Spider-Man. And your name is? Jean. My name is Jean. Oh boy, this is the big one that I really gotta talk about, huh? I said earlier that I wanted City Sync to play Gwen Stacy, not only because I want to continue the trend of redheaded actresses changing their hair color to play non-redheaded Spider-Man women, but also because I think Gwen is ready for the MCU. I mean, clearly, she's in the script. Now, this rumor has been at my side for a while now, and I'm gonna be honest. I hate it. Introducing Jean, who for all intents and purposes should be the protagonist of your first X-Men movie, in the first movie of a new unrelated Spider-Man trilogy, is a choice. And a choice that I do not like. Also because her role is super unclear. I mean, we have no trailers or information for what the movie's about. I am glad about that, but the uncertainty is just so... I don't know. I'm quick to judge. I'll admit that. But I'm also quick to admit when I am wrong about things, right? And if this is good, which I hope it is, I'll admit that, for sure. So if I hated it, why is it in the pitch? Well, it's my philosophy with these pitches that I need to work with the given circumstances. Okay, I had to work with RDJ as Doctor Doom, I gotta work with this. If Jean Grey is in the movie, she is in the movie, right? Unless I fully forget about the character, sorry, Thor fans, I'm not gonna omit a character just because I don't like the idea of them being in the movie. Even though these pitches are not replacements, it's easy to say I could do something better when I have full creative control. So it is only fair that we work with the same basic story that we know is going to be in this film. So about Jean specifically. She can work, right? You just have to make her important without making the entire film about her. She has to act like a side character because she is a side character, just a side character who is very essential to the themes and ideas of this film. The story of a runaway Jean implies mutant struggles already, before Secret Wars. And if we go with the idea here, the idea that she was tricked into thinking that she was using powers, but, you know, some other mind controller was using a scapegoat of a scapegoat to do it, then we end up having still the climb to her to eventually get better with her powers, hopefully with the help of a certain professor.
I ran. Well, more left. I could go back at any time, but I didn't want to. I don't want to. Yes, something's different about me. Something in me has changed. That's what makes me psychic. Or at least, I thought that I was. I think I still am, but maybe I don't want to try it. That's what made it easy.
Why'd you go?
Kept hurting people I loved. When I use my powers, people get hurt. And when I left, I needed some money, and not many people want to help out a grown woman. And if they did, Lord knows I don't want to go. But crime pays. Nothing crazy. I'm not like killing people, except I'm not trying to. And when I was detached, well, it made it easier to do what I had to do. I didn't know anybody. And I guess I wasn't hurting anybody either.
I get it. I've hurt people today. I do every day, I think. But we don't do it on purpose. And just because you've hurt someone doesn't mean you can't be kind to yourself, you know?
Silence.
Well, thanks for the pep talk. I'm going back to Tombstone.
What? But he's gonna
Cut me off? Yeah, well, the cops want me to. So, either way, if he gets me, I can't hurt people no more.
Gene walks away. Spider-Man stays seated. He reaches for his pockets and pulls out his phone and a pencil and a crumbled piece of paper. Interior, New York warehouse. We open on a similar wide shot at the same warehouse. The only light is coming from the center. We see Bill Metzger walking in with the man of the hour, Mac Gargan.
Oh shit! Look at this place. Nice and spacious. So where's my person of interest, eh?
Nice to see that you're excited.
As from the shadows, leaning into the light, is the one and the only
Tombstone.
Tombstone was created by Gary Conway in 1988 for the web of Spider-Man. Eventually moving to the Spectacular Spider-Man series that was being written by Conway, Tombstone was made to be a side villain, a main villain for the side comics, not for the original Amazing run. He is the classic, hardcore, mob boss, gangster archetype. Tombstone has been confirmed for a moment in this film, and if it wasn't obvious from the beginning scene or the middle scene or me saying his fucking name, yeah, he is the main villain of this film, using other goons as scapegoats and false leads and false idols for the crime, while he rakes in the dough. The truth is, this movie has a lot of characters that people love, right? And this narrative is the narrative that I think gives the most love to the most characters, while still doing what I think this film should be doing, which is telling a Peter Parker story. Hey, this is me after the fact. I'm actually currently editing this video right now, and I want to explain a bit more on the direction that I chose to go with Tombstone, and specifically why I chose to go with it for this story in particular. When I began writing this script, the idea was that I wanted the story to be about the lack of a work-life balance that Peter had, a lack of a balance between his real life and his Spider-Man life. The idea that he's so down on himself that he is purely focused on one side of his life, and that is only making his mental state worse and his emotions worse, and he is, secluding himself to what he knows he's good at, but to the point of ruining his life and becoming, a caricature of his former self, like becoming a literal spider because he is too into the Spider-Man persona. As a filmmaker, I don't like directly saying, themes and concepts and allegories like that, but I think it's important for this. Through the Robbie Robertson story, we didn't say outright, but he was obviously talking about Tombstone. He did say Lonnie, to be fair, and he described him getting too into the role of the bully, that he literally escalated to the point of becoming a hardcore mob boss, and now we see him literally being the ultimate mob boss because he is so in the role. And obviously this is not the full film, so we can't really explore the character too much, but I do think that he essentially would be not a dark reflection of Peter per se, but more a view on what someone can look like when they are way too into the role to a point where they let it completely consume their life, and the sort of things that they do and the sort of mindset that they end up having when they only have one part of themselves. Anyway, thank you, back to regular Zion, let's go. Plus, at this point, we've been waiting for the Scorpion for so long.
just use him, right? Use him once, use him twice, use him multiple times, right? He's not Thanos. He's not gonna fucking kill Spider-Man, right? Just use him. It's been so long. I don't even think it's gonna be that cool. Just use him. Come on.
I was told you brought me a toy or two.
That'll be to your side. Hammerhead, take him there kindly.
Mac follows Hammerhead to a specialized container with a full-body, custom-made exoskeleton armor, made to have the piercing tail of a scorpion, providing full-body protection and agility and strength stronger than regular Spider-Man.
I'm glad you're happy about us getting Gargan, sir.
Where's the girl?
She's gone, sir. She ran away.
Yeah?
Yes, sir. I told her, go run along now and Tombstone will have your head. Spider-Man was there too, so when you finally get him out, he'll tell you the same thing.
You said that while Spider-Man was there.
Yes.
You said my name. Actually, Bill, can you get up right now? Stand next to me.
Tombstone gets up from his chair as he fucking towers over every other person there. Bill nervously gets in front of Tombstone, shaking.
Calm down, Bill. Calm down. What do they call you? Mindworm. Mindworm, calm down, baby.
Tombstone puts both of his hands on Bill's face, almost clasping him fully. Bill is shivering.
I could see you're nervous. Why are you nervous?
Because
Yeah, you messed up. But it's okay. We all make mistakes, right? Right?
Tombstone snaps Bill's neck counterclockwise.
Dumbass. Don't ever do some dumb shit like that again. Any of y'all.
Everybody nods.
Nah, that's not right. Because now, we gotta kill Spider-Man.
Exterior, New York City. Night. It's misty in New York City. Maybe it'll rain soon. We cut to Spider-Man swinging through the city, vaguely going nowhere, swinging with one hand as he keeps looking at the piece of paper in his other. Sometimes he stops at a rooftop and starts looking harder. Sometimes he erases. And sometimes he writes. Who am I, right? Spider-Man is swinging to get his mind off things. But anyway, sorry. My name is Peter Parker. No. He swings by his old high school. He swings by his old apartment. Hi. My name is Spider-Man. Nice to meet you. Obviously you can't respond, but nice to meet you too. But anyway, sorry. Who am I, right? Well, I'm your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Sorry. Corny. Also, I said that already. Interior, New York City, apartment. We see Ned and MJ on the couch watching TV as they're showing footage of Spider-Man at public events. Due to the recent commotion, obviously the news are talking about him, so maybe they're being like, remember Spider-Man? Or maybe J. Jonah got some TV time and is spouting about how he's a menace, and there's some, dramatically ironic footage, just showing something about Spider-Man is being shown on TV. Either way, visually, the moments are positive. They're painting him in a good light, and Ned, who still wants to figure out his identity, is watching closely. Maybe he thinks there's something familiar about watching him. He's not gonna remember, but there's that in the back of his head. We used to know each other. Very close. MJ leans in to really get a look at him. But don't try to remember, but that might not work either. When we knew each other, something bad was gonna happen. To you, to me, to a lot of people. MJ gets up. I'm going to the restroom real quick. MJ proceeds to take a back exit to the staircase. And the only way to stop it was to make everyone forget about me. I have to help everyone. It was the right thing. Exterior, New York apartment. We see Spider-Man outside of an apartment with his mask half up, covering a majority of his face, writing the final bits of his letter. We see how crumbled it is, erased dozens and dozens of times. He slows down as he's erasing now. And sometimes you have to give up things you love to do good things. But I'm back for the thing. MJ walks out to the apartment rooftop, looking around, compelled, called by someone. You're not a thing. But I'm back because I'm Peter Parker. No one is there.
Now we are in the climax of the film. At this point, Peter understands the emotional lessons that he was being taught by Bruce and Connors, but now he just has to face the villains. He knows that the culprit is Tombstone and just how dangerous he is, and how important to Peter's moral mission that saving Jean Grey and preventing her death is. Obviously, this is not a full script or a full film, so I can't say every little detail, but if it were up to me on how Spider-Man meets Tombstone...
Exterior, New York City. Spider-Man is swinging wondering how the hell he's gonna find where this Tombstone guy is. Maybe he could look at the Bugle reports, information from the militia press, triangulate the homes of each of the villains.
Get in my fucking truck.
Okay, that's partially me finding a way to excuse the lackluster Punisher character arc in this Spider-Man movie, but hey, if you have a suggestion on how you would use the Punisher in this script, let me know in the comments below. But in defense of that, I also think it's very cool to have characters as iconic as Frank Castle as the Punisher be super minor characters in these movies. Like, I loved Doctor Strange being in No Way Home. If he was in it even a little less, I think that'd be cool. Because to me, that's always what was cool about a shared universe, that a hero in one story can be a minor character in another. And honestly, that's not even what the Punisher is right now, because if he's taking Spider-Man to Tombstone, he's rolling in. Before the true final fight of the film, I think there should be this moment where Peter sneaks into Tombstone's office. I've said this before, but the spider transformation was clearly more emotional and psychological. He has more spider-like movements and attributes, so the sneaking here is very creepy crawly. And you know what, for Act 3 in particular, I think it would be cool if he's crawling like that because he learned it, not because it's in his biology. It could be the end of this, evolution life cycle thing.
Interior, Tombstone's office.
Great to finally meet face to face. Spider-Man,
Silence.
you scared? I don't bite. What? You heard stories?
Peter's spider senses start going off, but he begins to breathe. He starts to calm down. He doesn't let it control him. He's not getting too into it. Peter finally descends. He keeps a grip on the ceiling just in case, but he's looking at him. It's that classic Spider-Man pose. You know I have to ask you to stop, right?
And you know I will not. I've got what I wanted, and I'm just here to keep it.
You don't have to do this. You can have a better life.
I have a great life, and I will continue having a great life. Because people who prevent me from having a great life go in the ground.
What you're doing to Jean ain't right.
I don't do shit right, Spider-Man. I don't wear costumes. I live this shit. You, on the other hand, you're picking and choosing. You trying to die?
Is that a threat, Tombstone?
Not by me. By life. It ain't possible to live two lives at once. It'll kill you.
Not if I got a say in it.
I like you, Spider-Man. But I gotta kill you.
Tombstone snaps his fingers as a scorpion comes crashing. Sup, spider fuck!
I see this final fight as being, again, excellently directed and choreographed. There's no point in me even trying to describe it, but I will say, imagining a fight with the Scorpion fighting Spider-Man with potential psychic assistance from Jean Grey, oh my god. I need new pants. Because while she did walk away to get killed by Tombstone, she was not fully committed. And seeing Spider-Man and the Punisher fighting for New York City, fighting against Tombstone, fighting in a way for her, would motivate her to get into action, which she would kindly. Plus, imagine this. Imagine a bunch of C-list villains, D-list villains, Hand Ninja, the Scorpion all together, when suddenly... that would be dope. I mean, we all want to see the Hulk be used in Act 3 of a film that is actually significant and makes him look powerful and cool. It might be a little overkill for Scorpion. When I described his armor earlier, I wanted to make it clear that it was designed to kill Spider-Man. And I want it to be shown in the fight. Because at this point, even if, the evolution is done, Spider-Man has reached this new level of strength, this new level of power. He is stronger than the Spider-Man he was in Act 1. But complete emotional arc or not, he's not used to these oversensitive powers, but we can show how his person-to-person connections have made a difference. His connections to Jean, even to Banner. Eventually, he gets the best of Gargan, gets to use his powers, and absolutely butt-fucks him. I really don't have a preference with how this should be dealt with, mostly because in prison or out of prison, we know what movie comes after this, so anything could happen, to be honest, but I think getting Scorpion in prison will make the heroic victory feel a lot more victorious, especially because Tombstone has escaped.
Interior, New York apartment. Hallway. Peter was walking the halls of his apartment with his backpack to his side. An office door opens.
Parker, good morning, man.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Gahan.
Just reminding you, rent is in 12 days.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, do you want it early?
Oh, perfect. Can you give it now?
Oh, I mean, like, I was joking. I can give it to you this Friday.
The office door closes. Interior, Empire State University.
We see Peter in his classes.
Sitting with slightly better posture, raising his hand a tiny bit more. He even cracks a joke with the person next to him, Gwen Stacy. She's constantly reminding him of the fact that he just dipped when the Hulk was at school, but they're still friends. It causes a bit of conflict, but they weren't super close, you know? That doesn't cause that much of a problem.
Plus, clearly Peter is very apologetic.
They made amends.
Interior, the Daily Bugle.
Terrible!
J. Jonah Jameson is going through 2 weeks worth of photos from Peter.
Horrible! Terrible! Horror! Disgusting! Decent. Last 3, front page, you're welcome.
He hands them back to Parker. Peter leaves his office as Robbie approaches him.
Hey, congratulations on front page, my man. Just remember what I said. Stay safe out there. Yeah, I know. No, don't take all the good stories. But that's good too. Hey, some of us are gonna get a little early dinner. You gonna join?
I'd love to, but I'm busy. You know, school and stuff.
You a grown-ass man. But all right.
Peter and Robbie part ways as exterior, New York City. We see Spider-Man swinging the streets of New York City, going through alleyways, past hot dog stands, across skyscrapers. He swings past one building with Michelle Jones in it, waiting for an audition, as she checks behind her and sees the last moments of the friendly neighborhood hero, as she smiles and moves her hair behind her ear. As Spider-Man does his final swing, we hear him read the final version of his letter.
Hi, my name is Peter Parker. Nice to meet you. Obviously, you can't respond because I'm reading this myself. Unless you find this letter and found that was funny, then enjoy. But anyway, sorry. Who am I, right? A lot of people don't remember me, but I say we used to know each other. And don't try to remember. Waste your time. If we knew each other, when we knew each other, something bad was gonna happen. To a lot of people. And the only way to stop it was to make everyone forget about me. I have to help everyone. It's the right thing to do. And you know, sometimes you have to give up things you love to do good things. But I'm back because I am Spider-Man. And just because I know people would want to know, an end credit scene for this film that I think would be really cool is like a one shot of Peter's apartment where he has an open window where he's clearly busy and occupied and not looking outside the window, maybe doing something, maybe we're teasing some new friends he might have made or something, or some new stuff for the next movie, maybe like some Gwen stuff, and in the window there's just a f***ing incursion. And he just doesn't notice. I think that would be really funny for people who do get it. It wouldn't mean shit for anyone who doesn't understand, but I would like it. Hell, we can do a cut-off F-word gag for the funnies. So that was my pitch for Spider-Man Brand New Day. I want to say to all of you, thank you so much for watching this video till the very end, and thank you so much for all the love that y'all have been showing to the channel this entire year. We're almost halfway through the year, but I want to acknowledge I'm clearly somewhere different. This is not how the front of my setup has looked ever. I graduated college, as I said at the beginning of the video, and I'm still figuring stuff out. With all the love that y'all have shown pitching Avengers Doomsday and even the other videos I've done, I just feel so grateful, and truly, like, I feel every single like and comment that y'all give. More pitches will come soon, trust me, they just take a while. It's not going to be as long as this one, though. If you want to catch me and chat to me outside of these videos, though, I stream live on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays on YouTube.com. I have a schedule on the community post, so you can check that out. Or if live streams are not your thing, or you're not interested in what I'm streaming, join the Discord, link in the description, the Chillixion community chat room, 100% free. Join your other storytellers and keep the conversation going. So did you enjoy the pitch? What were your thoughts? What did you get out of the narrative as a storyteller? Hell, who knows, if we reach that light goal, there could be some more developments between Peter and Gwen. Before we conclude the video, I want to say that this video is sponsored by BHustle2400 and eFemridian, my YouTube channel member and my Patreon. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. If you want your name said at the end of videos, become an elite storyteller either through YouTube membership or Patreon, link in the description below. Well, that's it for me. I've been recording for far too long and my legs hurt a lot. I'll catch all of you guys in the theaters watching the actual Spider-Man Brand New Day, hopefully with a notebook, seeing what I got right. I'm joking. But in all seriousness, thank you so much for watching, and I hope all of you have a damn good one. Peace.